Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode 8 of the TCP podcast. You're joined... I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm your host, Mackay, and tonight I'm joined by...
Alright, it's Phil. What's going on?
And old man Cam over here, of course.
Yeah, so we've got a couple different topics on the docket here for you, but we're going to open up nice and easy. And we're going to talk about the Nintendo Switch Lite. So, guys, let me know what your impressions are, whether you're going to pre-order one, all that fun stuff.
I can't do it to myself in pre-ordering one. I can't lose features on a new product. Like even though I understand why they did it the way they did, I can't go and be like, yo, I'm about to get this light and then sit at home and be like, all right, well, I can't put it on my TV anymore, which is what I used to love doing. And that's kind of going to hurt. Like, I understand people getting it this way because it is a portable system. It is going to still play the same. It's still going to be cool. But then I also was reading that it's not going to be able to play all the games. And they're going to start slapping labels on games because you can't play without, like 1-2 switch.
Those labels are technically on there.
Oh, already. Are they on there already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know they were already there. I figured they were going to start adding them at the rollout.
So games like The World Ends With You, it's got a label on there.
Yeah, they on the back of your boxes, they say, oh, this can be played in handheld mode. This can be played in tabletop mode. This can only be played in handheld mode. This cannot be played in tabletop mode. Things like that. So... technically, it is technically compatible with any game that can play tabletop mode. The problem is you still need extra Joy-Cons in order to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And there is not a kickstand on it.
Yes, there's no kickstand, so you have to buy a separate stand.
That was a weird takeout. I know there was supposed to be some type of controversy with it, but I was just like, who was in the lab? Like, hey man, take that kickstand off. They're just not going to use it.
Now, here's both, I guess, I've gone through all the overhead with this, and I've thought about it, and I see a lot of people are excited for this, for good reason, because this is the new 3DS.
Right.
Let's go ahead and put that out there right now. If you ever had a doubt that the 3DS is dead, the Switch Lite is that.
I don't understand the
nail
doubt.
in the coffin.
I've never understood the doubt. Like,
but because you legitimately had some people holding out, like, oh no, the 3DS is not dead. I'm like, yo, the 3DS power compared to the Switch is nothing.
Right.
We all went to the funeral. We all went.
All right. Now, here's my take on the Switch Lite. My full take on the Switch Lite. The Switch Lite is probably not for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because I know I've read articles, I've talked to people on forums, I've seen people in comments who don't ever dock their Switch but to charge it. Like, they legitimately only play their Switch on their commutes. They take public transportation, they walk to the train, they got a 3-hour train or a 3-hour bus into wherever they go. And that's the only time they play their Switch, and they love it. They love being able to play their home console games literally on the go. That's who the Switch Lite is for. Mm-hmm. That is who it's for. Those people.
I never thought of it like that until a buddy of mine who's been waiting to buy a Switch. He was like, well, he has 2 daughters, and one of his daughters was like, Dad, I want that light. And he was like, so what about putting it on the TV? She was like, I don't
do care about that.
Yeah, she was like, I don't want that. I play it handheld all the time. And she plays, and I've played with her handheld, Paladins, other stuff like that. She plays handheld.
Mm-hmm.
She does not ever put it on the TV. And I never thought about it until he was like, dude, she said she didn't care about it at all. So he was like, cool, I'll just go ahead and get her one. And then he's just going to take her Switch. And I was like, it's brilliant.
I'll be completely honest. I dock my Switch when we play Jackbox, and that's really about it. Most of the time, my Switch is played in bed, not on the TV, handheld mode. So I'm actually interested, dare I say, but I'm not I told Whitney, I was like, yeah, they're bringing out a new Switch. This was before the announcement. And I said, the only way I would get it is if I traded in my Switch now to get the next one. And then they announced it, and I was like, I'm not trading my Switch in for... It's a Vita that plays Switch games.
Well, that's the thing, is that it sounds crazy to us because we live in places where we don't travel a whole heck of a lot. Well, we're not in a place where we can play it handheld a lot. Mm-hmm. I think out of the three of us, I probably played my Switch. I don't know about you, Mackie. I play my Switch about 60% on the TV, 40% handheld. And the only time I play mine handheld is when my wife comes home and I'm in the middle of a game of Diablo or Splatoon or whatever. Mm-hmm. And she's like, hey, I want to watch my shows. And then plop it out, play it for a little bit. That's when I undock my Switch.
Yeah.
And on car rides. Other than that, like long car rides. Other than that, I don't play my Switch handheld. I play my Switch as a regular console.
That makes sense. I'm 70-30 because I know for the most time I have this huge TV, and I told Alyssa when I got this TV, I was like, I'm putting everything on it. Anything I can do. If I'm looking at pictures on my phone, I'm throwing them right to the TV. It's 65 inches. I'm not playing with anything off of it. So even when I take my Switch off, I'm like, all right, this is tight. And I'll go lay in bed and play a little bit, but then I'm like, all right, I want to see this on the big screen tomorrow. So I'll stop mid cutscene, wait, come back out, put it on there, put it on the big screen. Like it's just something I've wanted forever. And I'm always the driver, so I never get to like be a passenger and just play my Switch. So I don't get to enjoy it like that. Not
See,
yet.
my wife is the driver. She loves to drive, so
that's magic.
I'm so envious.
I know that's so magical.
I just got Cryptid Necrodancer, and that does not kill your battery life at all. I think it was a 9-hour drive to Ohio, and I think I played it like 4.5 hours and still had 60% battery life left. So it was gorgeous. It was brilliant. I had my mind blown. I had my charger ready, like my backup charger, like, all right, here we go. Mm-hmm. I didn't even use it over the whole trip. It was fantastic. It was phenomenal.
That's awesome.
Anyway. But that's what I have to say about the Switch Lite. It was an inevitability when I saw the numbers on how many people just play it undocked.
Right.
I was like, this makes 100% complete sense that they would make a Switch that's cheaper, doesn't connect to your TV, because some people don't want it to. They don't need it to. They just want to play The Witcher 3 or Doom or Odyssey, Super Mario Maker, or they just want to play it on their commutes to work and stuff. There you go. You have it now. And I'm like, that's a good marketing move. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's going to understand that because not everybody comes and like lives in a place where that even makes sense. Like I said, for me, that makes 100% zero sense. There would never be a reason for me to get a Switch Lite, but I like the idea. I understand the idea.
I was a little hurt, honestly, when I saw it, because I was like, dang, those look really good. Like, they actually look fantastic.
Yeah,
they look super smooth. I was like, those are so baller. Yeah! Even the yellow one, I was like, dog,
the yellow one
fly.
Looks so good. And I hate yellow.
I was like, can I get a Switch rebranding? Like, I'll take those colors on an old Switch if I could just have it.
Right.
But
give me some Sword and Shield Joy-Con and let me go.
Did you see the Sword and Shield Lite?
It looks so good.
It looks fire.
It looks so good.
I was
hurt. I'm glad we could all agree on that, at least.
I was hurt.
So fair enough. Aesthetically, we're on fire for it. Gameplay-wise, I mean, it plays all the games the same. If not, it's got a little bit of a different processor, not better, just different.
Different. Yes.
So it'll play the games that we're used to playing. However, Cam, from what I'm gleaning, the non-dockable portion of it is the killjoy for you.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. There's no reason for me to even be remotely interested in the thing, so I'm not, because the fact that I can't just be like, oh, I'm playing on handheld and my wife is gone, let me hook it up to the TV, because I play most of my video games on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how I grew up playing video games. I get it. Handhelds are dope. Handhelds are fine, but handhelds are also for short bursts of gaming for me.
That's
like
true.
I'm not used to looking at a tiny, tiny screen. Excuse me, for hours at a time. No, that's not what it's for. The TV is for that.
Right.
So for me, personally, the Switch, the main concession of the Switch is that, hey, sure, I can go and play the game I play mostly is Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
I can play Diablo for hours and hours on my TV. But if I'm taking a vacation, like I did over 4th of July, it's a 9-hour drive up.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting in a campground where there's nothing to do but sit around the campfire and drink and eat. That's a good time to get in some good Diablo time.
Oh, yeah.
And I can do that. I can keep my same game and keep doing that out in the wilderness because that's what it does. That's the main reason I got Switch. And it does exactly what I want it to do. And when I get home, I can put it back on the dock and I can pull up my same character that I've been playing all weekend and keep playing. And if I can't do that, there's no reason for me to have the machine in the first place. So there
Fair
you
enough.
go. That's my feelings on the Switch Lite. I think it's fantastic. It is 100% not for me.
Phil,
That's
any
fair.
final thoughts?
I'm probably in that same exact boat. I love the idea of the duality in the Switch. I can put it on my TV or I can run around the house with it. And I really don't want to give that up, even though it looks like it's going to be a smooth console and it'll be cool for a lot of people to have. It's just not what I'm going to want, knowing that when I walk home and I get in the house, I'm going to be like, all right, cool. Let me pop these Joy-Cons off, put this Fire Emblem on the big screen and rock. Like that's what I'm going to want to do. And I can't see myself giving that up for the exact same thing. Like if they were like, all right, well, the visually is going to be better, the console itself is going to be stronger, then I'd be like, all right, cool, I have something to think about. But right now, for the same console, just $100 cheaper, I've already spent $100. It's not going to change my mind that it's cheaper. I'm keep what I have and wait for something stronger.
I'm not gonna lie. And these are my final thoughts on it. If I can find a way to get Whitney, because Whitney has a Switch, if I can find a way to get the Jackbox games onto her Switch, I might get one.
Wait, are y'all not on my Nintendo account? I hope Nintendo's not listening, but all y'all should be on my Nintendo account. That way you can pass games across consoles.
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, why not? You should. I think Phil and Alyssa are.
I
you
am,
not?
yeah, I am for sure.
I'm on.
I think Alyssa is too.
On Whitney, Rosie, David, Christian.
Oh, you betrayed me.
I didn't betray. I gave you my email address, good sir.
You have to join yourself anyway.
Yeah, well.
The point.
Okay.
The point is, you should. If y'all are all on the same account, you should be able to pass. You should be able to log in on her Switch as you and download those games.
So, I might be getting a Switch Lite, is what you're saying. If I and this is a lock and key transaction here. If I can walk into a GameStop, hand my Switch over, and walk out with the box.
You don't even need to do. Wait, you're trying to give up your Switch?
So what I'm saying is, if I can trade mine in and get a new console, because
But why would you
we still do the TV stuff with Whitney's. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But here's the thing also, is that certain games, I know you don't really play Splatoon. I don't know if you play Smash like that, but certain games you cannot keep, your data's not kept across accounts. Okay. So like, for instance, Splatoon is a perfect example. If Phil doesn't have Splatoon, for example, but if Phil downloaded it with my account and tried to play on my account, he wouldn't be able to play on my account. He would have to play on his own because my account is linked to my Switch.
Right.
On Splatoon.
Yeah.
So the only way you can play Splatoon with my account is on my Switch.
Correct.
You would have to
have your own.
I don't even know if you'd be able to play online.
Well, now if he had saved a memory on there, would he be able to do it in that way?
He can play it. He just can't play my game. Like, not on my game. You couldn't play my game with my name. You could play my game with your name, but it's like certain games are saved only to that Switch. And it's, especially a competitive game, you would want it that way. You wouldn't want it for me to be able, you wouldn't want you to be able to pick up my account and play it as me. Because that's basically cheating.
Yeah. I think I said something I didn't mean to say. Because basically what I'm saying is if I can pick up where I left off with my own account on a Switch Lite, then I might do it.
You can.
I don't see that being the issue.
I think my problem with the Switch Lite, my only big deal is that there is no way to connect your Switch Lite to the TV.
Right.
And in that sense, it's not really, it doesn't have the magic of what drew me to the Switch in the first place.
That's fair.
And that's the ability to, it's portable, but
it's the 2D
hook it up to your TV. Yeah, it's like the reason
stronger.
Like if I get the appeal of the 2DS, it's the 3DS, but it doesn't have the 3D. 3D was not essential to what made the 3DS a likable game console. The games and the power of the 2DS made it likable. The main draw of the Switch is the switching ability.
Right.
And so without that, for me, it's just another handheld. It's a good handheld. Let's not get it twisted.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But it's not, the Switch is not just a handheld for me.
Yeah.
With that being said, I locked up my knees. With that being said, I'm going to take a potty break.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break.
I don't know if you need to cut this out, but
yeah, so we're going to take a quick break. You guys are going to hear a nice little jingle here, and we'll be back in a moment.
Hey, it's Kaiser here, crashing the cast. Even though I'm not in, I still have a question of my own to ask. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a part of the cricket party? Well, why wonder when you can experience it? Just set your gaze upon that subscribe, follow, download, or share button. It's not hard, and the best part is, it's free. No hidden fees, recurring payments, or yearly dues, so just click it. Alright, so now that you're a part of the cricket party, what do? Well, why don't you tell your friends and family about it so they can join too? Thank you all for the love and support. Let's get back to the cast.
All right, and we're back from our nice little break here. Phil, you had some final thoughts about the Switch Lite. Go ahead with those, man.
Okay, so I wasn't thinking about this earlier, and I just figured I'd get you guys to just kind of weigh in on it. With the Switch Lite coming out, and the rumors that we had already heard of mentioning a light console, and then a heavy-duty console, does this give any weight to that rumor for you guys, or are we just kind of laissez-faire on this one?
Would you like to start, Mackie?
Yeah, I'll get started. I don't really know if Nintendo's going to do a necessarily pro version. I've heard it be tossed around that it'll be called the new Nintendo Switch instead of the Pro. Well, that's just what they do.
That's a terrible name. It has always been such a bad thing.
It is, but it's Nintendo.
So it's the new 3DX or 3DS,
right?
But they did it.
I have one of those. So
the Pokeball Plus.
Yeah,
we have to get a naming guy for Nintendo. We have to.
Nintendo, man. I think they will at some point, not this year, because they've already come out and said we're not announcing any new hardware this year. I think at some point in the Switch's life cycle, it will get a refresh. Not necessarily a Pro model, but it'll get like a Nintendo Switch Plus, where it has a mildly better processor, where it can like the new 3DS, where it could play Xenoblade and it could play SNES games and things like that. It'll have new Joy-Con colors. I wouldn't be surprised if the console itself received some color revisions. But I think honestly, Nintendo's not worried about the power of the console. I mean, it's already running.
Nope. They've
it's
never
already-
been worried about the power of their console.
right. And
Like since the console wars really got into it, they've never worried about the power of their console. So
right. Just look
go
at the
ahead,
Wii.
continue.
No, you're good. But yeah, if you just look at the Wii as an example, but yeah, I think we'll see a refresh as opposed to a pro model. So, Cam, what do you think?
I don't think. Okay, I agree with everything Mackay said. However, I don't think that this reveal plays into that at all. I don't think it means that it's going to happen. I don't think that it hints that it's going to happen.
Right.
I think that if they wanted to do that, it would be independent of what everybody thinks is going to happen, because Nintendo has never cared about what you think as an individual. They don't care. They are trying to make stuff that they think is fun for you. And so, with that being said,
That's a hard
if
sentence.
that's how it's
No, it's
always
not
been
wrong.
given to us.
It's not wrong at all. It's just a hard sentence to say. Like, I don't like whatever you want me to say that I like. I just want you to like what I'm about to tell you that you like.
Correct.
Right.
That's a tough thing to say.
You say that, but Nintendo is the longest running major console. Like they're the longest running major console makers because that's always been what they've really shot for. They don't care about what you think you want as a consumer. They're trying to be ahead of what you think you want. If they didn't think that, they would have never come out with the Wii. The Wii was so crazy because everybody was like, we're going to make systems more powerful. We're going to make the best, powerful, most realistic system. And then we're like, hey, your grandmama can play this. Here you go. Millions of copies. And everybody had their minds blown because they weren't ready for what Nintendo was ready to give them. And it was just like, that's how you have to think like Nintendo. Nintendo does not care what you think the rumors are. They're going to give you what they think is the most fun thing that they can give you. And they want you to enjoy it.
They do that with the Wii because its code name was the Nintendo Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Which was a cool name. And then they came out with Pokemon Revolution that same year or something like that. I was like, yo, this is hard.
Yeah.
They really worked internally on this.
But that's
and then they changed it to Wii because Wii would like to play.
That was a dope commercial.
Right. I'm not even as crazy as the Wii was. Like the ups and the downs, the shovelware and the garbage and the good and the bad. The Wii was a brilliant piece of hardware in a time where people were basically having an arms race for the biggest nuke. They came out with just a rocket launcher that your grandma and your little sister and your mom could all use and have fun with. And we're like, hey, we're going to sell this to you and everyone's going to buy one.
And you're going to buy it. And everybody did.
And
everybody did.
Grandma's everywhere was like, well, I have a Wii at my house. And I was like, dang, word?
Ever since then, ever since the Wii came out, I've never really tried to speculate or think about what Nintendo is trying to do. I'm just enjoying what they're giving me. And as a fanboy, it's even easier to do because that's always what I did before I realized that's what they were doing. So,
right.
All right, that's my end. I'm not saying any more about the Switch. I'm not saying any more.
What about you, Mac? What you got?
He already gave his.
Yeah,
you good too?
Yeah,
I didn't know if you had more on the rumor mill.
Peace. I'm ready to move on to our little game I have planned for us.
Well, then let's get it going. Let's rock. I'm ready.
All right. So, for those of you rather, who are subscribers to the channel, who have watched the Cricket Party for quite some time, you would have seen a video go up called Options, where Cam and I asked each other several questions where we were given choices. And they were always random, and they were always off the top of our heads, and they were always shot really funny. But I've got a couple of questions for you guys, a couple of options for you. And Phil, we're going to start with you. And I'm assuming and I'm hoping that these will spark some mini discussions as well. So option number 1, Phil. Pokemon or Digimon?
Oh, shit.
Because I know how much of a Digimon fan you are. I've got some bangers in here, people.
Okay. Like, in total, are we talking games, card games, shows?
Everything.
Oh, shit. Like,
Pokemon or Digimon.
You can't say that word.
Oh, my bad. That threw me off. I was not expecting. Okay.
Hey, you know what? On the podcast, as long as there's like, we just gotta try and censor ourselves.
Okay. I was doing good, and this kind of threw me out of my regular space.
That's the point of options.
That's how
Welcome
options
to the
works,
game.
Phil. Welcome to options, Phil.
I'm gonna have to say, even though I love Pokemon, I'm gonna have to rock with Digimon. Content-wise, they don't miss.
I knew you'd pick that.
They don't miss, dude. It's impressive. Like, I've never seen a wave of hate for Digimon. Like, we're living in a wave of Poke hate, but I've never seen anybody be like, "Yo, screw Agumon. Oh, he's trash." No, he's not. You watch the cartoon, you know what it is.
I would like to say that I don't necessarily think that what you're saying is wrong. I don't think it's a bad thing, but I think it's because the people who like Digimon are more passionate about Digimon than the people who like Pokemon. Pokemon is more of a broader stroke.
Mm-hmm.
I think
there
you
are a
have
lot
to
more
be
people
as a
that
Digimon
enjoy
fan.
Pokemon.
You're right. That's why, as a Digimon fan, you kind of have to be more of a Digimon fan than regular Pokemon fans are. Because it's like, well, there's only like 300 of us, dude. We all got to be extra loud. Whereas Pokemon is like, there's a million of us. And all you got to do is kind of show up. So it's super different.
He said the 300. Yeah. She's got like the Jehovah's Witnesses of video games.
Basically.
I mean, that's true. Because like, I've been to mad people and be like, yo, have you tried this Digimon game? This is tight. And they're like, nah, I don't want to play that. And I'm like, dog, it's a fire game. What are you talking about? You don't want to play this? Nah, I'm good.
It's true. It's true. I have never had any inkling to play any Digimon game. I've never cared.
And that's what's crazy. They're great games. The story is crazy good. The characters are fantastic. And their content is it's A1. Honestly, their content game is pretty solid.
I have to agree with you that it has to be because they keep putting out Digimon games and I've never played a single one. So there has to be some kind of audience for it.
It's a new one coming either in August or October. I don't really know.
Exactly.
It's one of those. And it's going to be a Digimon Tactics game. And I was like, I'm sold already. It's a hard tactics game. And I was like, I just want this out right now. They re-released the 2 that they put out on the PlayStation 4, and I was tempted to buy them. And I own the other 2 with all the DLC. It's fire.
See, I figured Phil would pick that. But I had to give him the option.
That's a hard one. That's really tough because, like, I love Pokemon.
That's the point.
God.
That's how options works, Phil.
So, Cam, you ready for your first options?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Neurovoider or Enter the Gungeon?
That's not even an option. The answer is Enter the Gungeon.
Yeah, I see that. I saw that coming.
See.
Do you know... Okay, first of all, let me say Enter the Gungeon is probably one of my favorite PC games of all time. Like, that's not even a joke. I had that game for PC before I had it for any console. Mm-hmm. And basically all other roguelike top-down shooters were just fillers until Enter the Gungeon came out for console. And as soon as it did, Enter the Gungeon 100%. Just the feelings and the homages and the things that they put into Enter the Gungeon. The fact that they gave this game years and years of their hard-earned work. The team that made this game put years and years into their hard-earned work. Instead of just moving on or trying to make a sequel or trying to cash in on the craze, they made numerous big updates for Enter the Gungeon. And it's brilliant. It's hard. It's difficult. Neurovoider's not difficult. If you know how to if you know how to exploit the game, Neurovoider is a pretty easy game.
Right.
It's just nobody plays it. So I look like I'm really, really good at it.
Yeah,
but I'm telling you,
consistently in the top of the world.
No, yes, I'm consistently on the Switch. I can get, if I were to go out play it right now, if I were to go and get hammered right now and go out and play Neurovoider, I guarantee you I would be number one on the leaderboards for the day, like easily, because nobody plays it. But that's not because I'm persistently good at it. It's because I just know the game. The game was easy to figure out, but it's still fun. Into the Gungeon is a different beast because you actually have to be technically good at it.
I guess I should have changed it to, or thrown in Dead Cells in there somewhere.
See, but that's still, a little tougher because
it would have been
they're different.
Gungeon.
It would have been, but it would have been tougher because Dead Cells is a different kind of game than Enter the Gungeon. And Dead Cells is not a shump.
Right. That's why I chose Neurovoider.
But yeah, with that being said, Dead Cells. Or not Dead Cells, Enter the Gungeon. Enter the Gungeon. Enter the Gungeon is a brilliant piece of software that I recommend anybody who likes shumps and likes difficult shumps play. If you have not played Enter the Gungeon and you like shumps, I don't know what you're doing with your life. If you don't know what shumps are, do not start with Enter the Gungeon because you'll never play another shump ever again. No, I'm serious because it's really hard. It's really hard. So unless you can be charmed into it, you're not going to like it.
But it is charming. Enter the Gungeon does have its own really smooth level of charm. That even if you're not even if that's your first big experience with a game like that, you can get in there and you can rock and you can love it. You can fall in love with a game like that.
Now, let me make a suggestion. If you're just getting into shumps, if you're just getting to the place where you can enjoy something that has some difficulty to it, that still has an old school vibe to it, I would... Oh, shoot. I just lost the name of the game. I would recommend to anybody with a Nintendo Switch, Graceful Explosion Machine.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what this game is, it was not a launch title with the Switch, but it came out very early on, and it was one of the early things, when you weren't playing Breath of the Wild, it was one of the few things that you could actually play other than Breath of the Wild. But it is a brilliant, brilliant, old school feeling shump with just enough nuance and strategy to make it feel fresh. And if you want an introduction to shumps, like old school shoot 'em ups, that's what you need to start with. Graceful Explosion Machine. Then, if you like the feel of how the game plays, not the type of game it is, because Enter the Gungeon is very different from that. But if you like how that plays, the nuance, the gunplay, the moving around, the strategizing, then you move on from there to Enter the Gungeon. Enter the Gungeon is the pinnacle, like top-notch stuff. It's like right under Ikaruga, which is like God mode for shumps.
Oh, gosh, talk about a hard game.
Yes, Ikaruga is hard, but no. Graceful Explosion, Enter the Gungeon. There we go. Answered my question. Move on.
All right, Phil, you ready for your second options?
Round 2, I'm prepared.
All right, this is a question that I've asked Cam in the past, so it's just a sort of a feel for where you're at.
What we got?
Xbox One, PS4, or Nintendo Switch?
Oh, well, Xbox One.
Really?
Wow.
That's not what I thought you would say.
I was going to stay out of this and be completely silent, but wow.
So and that's actually something, right? It is.
And I guess now explain yourself.
So while I love my Switch,
You better.
and I'm starting to tolerate my PlayStation again, but
Okay.
I use my Xbox. I use it. I don't just cut it on for a game. Today I cut it on for Crunchyroll just to look at some anime in the background while I was doing something on a different TV. And I sat there and I was like, holy crap. just Crunchyroll on this Xbox looks amazing. They obviously work on the UI that they put on these consoles, and I use my Xbox to watch other things. So if I'm gonna watch something on Netflix and I'm not using my main TV, I'll put it on the Xbox. Crunchyroll, Funimation, HBO Go, all types of stuff. I'll put it on my Xbox, and it runs fantastic. It's easy. It's very easy to do. It's very simple. It's right there. I don't know if you guys remember when everyone was trying to run their TVs through their Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, I was like, that's a stupid idea. But now, if I had cable, I'd be like, oh yeah, run that bad boy too. It's just so easy to do. It's so simple. It's so smooth. It's so I don't know. It's like second nature type thing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it was ahead of its time, I guess. Like,
yeah.
Like, oh, why would I ever want to run my Switch through, why would I ever want to run my cable through my video game console? And I was like, why can't I run my cable through my video game console?
Mm-hmm. Because now I do the streaming services, and the only reason I don't run it through my Xbox is because Xbox is like, nah, not yet. But when they do, if they go, hey man, you got whatever you have, cool, we can take that through here. Oh yeah, for sure. It's just that easy. It's just that simple. Like I just throw it on and just enjoy. I don't know. It just has become that thing. Like when I cut my TV on, I automatically cut my Xbox on.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's fair. So you use it more so as not
a
only
utility.
Yeah, it's like a media device.
It's a full on beast at this point. And I at first I was like, well, I don't really buy games for my Xbox, and then I got the Game Pass, and I was like, well, there's that back catalog I was waiting for.
Yeah, I was gonna say with the Game Pass, it's ridiculous. The amount of value that they give you for such a cheap price is, and especially you can, like, people were doing some exploit where they had like 3 years worth of the Game Pass Ultimate and stuff. Like it's just crazy the amount of value.
It's
and
worth it.
I don't have Game Pass because I just don't have time to play all those games. So I'm not going to pay for them, but still, like Monster Hunter World's up there, the Borderlands games are up there, all the Gears, every single Microsoft game that is published gets up there day one.
Batman's on there, and that's them going back and being like, hey, let me add this. I think they added Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic, Mass Effect. Yeah. They added
KOTOR's there.
I was just sitting there, and I was like, for $10. That's all I got to give you is $10, dude, and I can play all these games.
Well, now you can bundle in your Xbox Live with it and pay $15, and I'm like, there's no reason to not.
Because
even if I can literally not play my Xbox Live or not play Game Pass for a month and still feel like I got my value when I jump back in and they're like, they added Batman, and I'm like, oh, I never played Batman. Let's go play Batman.
We'll see. And
why would I not?
What's funny is Game Pass. I bought Game Pass back when Sea of Thieves came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting there and I was like, all right, cool, Sea of Thieves comes out tomorrow. Dang, I want to try that. And they were like, oh, now on Game Pass, Sea of Thieves. I was like, oh, well, that's kind of tough. All right, cool, let me download that. And I figured it was like one of those weekend free things. And it was just because I had the Game Pass. And they were like, no, go ahead, hold that, man. If you enjoy it, enjoy it. I was like, seriously? Yeah. So then Forza comes out. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, that's going to be something I got to buy. And they were like, oh, now we're on Game Pass. Enjoy Forza 4. I was like,
and I'm the fool that bought Sea of Thieves for $60.
That's 6 months of Game Pass.
I know.
Right. I literally got Game Pass when I found out Forza Horizon 4 is the first Forza Horizon game I have not bought because it's on Game Pass. And as soon as they're like, Forza Horizon 5's coming out, I might be like, gotta go to the store and buy Forza Horizon 4. But until then, I don't care. It's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass. It's so tight. I was sitting there and I was like, all right, well, what are they going to do? And they were like, all right, well, at E3, they were like, we're announcing Gears 5. And I was like, that's tight. That's going to be real cool. And they were like, oh, it's also going to be day one on Game Pass. I was like, this is sick. You guys are
not only that.
World.
Hold on. Not only do you get Gears 5 day one, it counts as you pre-downloading the game. So all the bonuses you would get is if you pre-bought the game and pre-downloaded it or whatever you want to call it, you get them just for having Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap.
It's so impressive and it's so tight. And this is now. And I remember I played my PlayStation a lot.
That's why I asked this question.
I previously did, and I remember PlayStation Now coming out, and I was like, "All right, cool. This could be really cool." And it wasn't. It really was just subpar. I was really disappointed with paying $20 a month for 30 games, and then you had to stream them, and it was useless. I was like, all right, cool, tight. And they could just cut it off whenever. They're like, oh, you got 2 hours left with this game. Shut up. Don't tell me how much I get. Like, what? That's crazy. So Game Pass, I was very skeptical to grab. Then Sea of Thieves, then the next 100 games that they've added. Because I remember they only had like 80 or 90 games when they first dropped. And now it's, 200-some games?
It's
up there.
I think I have 50 games off of the Game Pass downloaded to my Xbox right now, dude. It's impressively insane.
Oh, yeah.
The Fables are up. Like, there's just so much up there that it's like, I don't know. And honestly, I want the Switch to come out with something similar. So I feel like they have the same. They have those games that are go back games. I don't hold my breath for it. Yeah,
Nintendo's not gonna. Nintendo doesn't have to do that because Nintendo knows that you will pay $30 for their old game. That's how Nintendo does it.
I wanted out.
Look, as a Nintendo fan, I understand that everything they're doing is not good. I'm just saying.
They do too. That's what makes this interesting because they do too. They hear fans and they're like, yeah, all right, that's cool. Cool story. and that's just like, there's a guy in the office.
They're like, we have nothing to say at this time. And then they just have not said a word.
This has nothing to do with anything that we just talked about. But we have to talk about something after we finish recording. All right. I'm done.
Oh, no.
Go ahead.
That's foreboding.
Okay, so Cam, here's your... I'm sorry, Phil.
Oh, yeah. No. You're good. I didn't know if you guys had more questions. Why the Xbox?
I've got one more, and then we've got our wrap-up session with our completed games.
Okay.
So, Cam, and this one comes with a caveat. Because technically this isn't released yet. But if Zinogre is announced for Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and they choose to aesthetically make the weapons look more like the previous Monster Hunters, Monster Hunter World Iceborne or Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate?
Oh, little silence.
Those are two enormous caveats. Because first, they have to announce Zinogre, which I'm not sure that's going to happen. Second, they have to make those weapons look like they have to have the shark and the no swimming shield. They have to be the goofiness, and I'm not even talking about Prowler mode here, because that is my hill to die on. Okay, but those are your options. Monster Hunter World Iceborne with those caveats, or Generations Ultimate.
All right. After careful deliberation, first of all, Monster Hunter World can never be the old Monster Hunter.
Agreed.
Let me say that again. Monster Hunter World can never be the old Monster Hunter because what it lacks in the old Monster Hunter feeling, it makes up in its own new Western feeling thing. Mm-hmm. Monster Hunter World rather does not feel like a Japanese game. It feels like a Western action RPG made for Japan. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, if they announce Zinogre, I would be hype out of my mind.
See, I baited him with Zinogre.
Here's the thing about that.
The trap was set.
I don't think Zinogre is coming.
I don't either. Because
Adogeron has basically a Stygian Zinogre feel with its subspecies. Just watching the gameplay, I was like, this looks like almost like Stygian Zinogre mixed with Nargacuga. Speed of Nargacuga, attacks of Stygian Zinogre.
Absolutely.
Now, no. We're saying that, I was not expecting Brachydios, and we're getting Brachydios. So, but
who's my favorite monster?
At the same time, we've seen some of the new weapons, and they look like Monster Hunter World weapons, which is we're going to take the basic weapon skin and put some feathers on it or put some fur on it, and we're going to call it the new skin. With that being said, we've also seen the Nargacuga sword and shield in this game, and that sword and shield is the old version of the Nargacuga sword and shield. Yeah. It is straight up lifted from the old games, redone in HD and looking nice, and it almost brings tears to my eyes talking about it because I don't play Sword and Shield in Monster Hunter World. But they did it. They did it. They took the old game stuff and brought it over. With that being said, after all that's said and done, I think Monster Hunter World is the most accessible, most open, most beautiful, one of the more fun Monster Hunter games to play. I would take regular Monster Hunter Generations over Monster Hunter World.
Amen.
Not even the G-Rank Ultimate on the Switch. I don't care. That's not the problem. The problem with Monster Hunter World from an old head Monster Hunter fan has nothing to do with how it plays or the monsters or the fact that there's lots of new stuff in it and not a lot of old stuff. It's fantastic to play. I plan on getting Iceborne day one. Mm-hmm. I already had money set aside for it. I only have money for 2 games in that week, and Iceborne is one of them.
Wait, when does Iceborne drop?
The same week that Borderlands and Dragon Quest and all the good stuff drops in
Luigi's
September.
Mansion,
Ni no Kuni on Switch.
Literally all the good stuff this year drops in September.
Jeez, I didn't think about that. September's kind of rough.
September is rocking.
Yeah, but once you think about it, it just kind of hurts to look at.
We discussed this.
No, I know that. I'm just saying,
of us talked about this.
I definitely always put. You put pain out of your head. You don't want to think about how much that's going to cost you.
No, it's going to hit. Right now, it looks like it's. Gears drops that week.
Oh, my God. All right. Company.
Right. I don't know. Everybody's like, hey, we're dropping in September. We're dropping in September. Anyway, with all that being said and done, there's something about the old Monster Hunter games that has a charm that the new Monster Hunter games just don't have. And it's the nuance, the Japanese weirdness that can be lost very strongly in World that the old Monster Hunter games have. Like, the grind in the old Monster games was so long. I didn't feel a grind in the new Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter World did not have a grind. Mm-hmm. I got to the end game in less than triple-digit hours, which is not anything I can say about any of the old Monster Hunter games. And even Freedom Unite, which I absolutely hated. I thought Freedom Unite, I know I'm going to sound any Monster Hunter purists listening to this are going to hate me. But
I'm a Monster Hunter purist. I don't hate you.
Freedom Unite is the worst Monster Hunter game I've ever played because it's pure fluff.
Including World?
World is not fluff.
World is fun.
No. I'm saying World's World is Freedom Unite, so I didn't know if you were including World in this Monster Hunter category.
Yes, I am.
You have it set aside. Okay.
Yes. World is one of the better Monster Hunter games. In fact, it might be the best Monster Hunter game, but it is one of the least Monster Hunter games because Monster Hunter is about. When I started playing Monster Hunter, it was because it drew me in with how it was played. The nuance, the decision making had to be done up front. The way you played had to be very patient. Monster Hunter World has some of that, but it also has the ability to, I'm out of potions, let me run back to base camp to get potions. I brought the wrong weapon, let me run back to the base camp to get a new weapon. And that is distinctly non-Monster Hunter, because that takes away the planning part of the Monster Hunter game. That's not monster hunting. You know what I mean?
Okay. You lose something. You lose that learning lesson.
You lose the learning. And the fact that in the old Monster Hunter games, the grind was so real. Like, all right, you have to fight this thing, you had to get this thing. You need 2 of that thing from it, and you got 1. Okay, bet. I'm going to do it again. I didn't get it. I'm going to do it again. I didn't get it. Oh, I didn't do it again. I didn't get it. I didn't do it again. And you get to the point where you're frustrated because you can't get the thing, but you also realize that this thing is not hard anymore because you learn how to do it. Monster Hunter World does not have that because it's so, all right, I beat the thing, let's go on to the next thing.
Right. It's so established in stepping stones.
Right.
That it doesn't have that grind, like you said.
Like, the only grind I had in Monster Hunter World is grinding Great Gyros, which felt like a grind because I already knew how to fight Great Gyros, but because I wanted the Gyros armor. And it didn't feel like the same Monster Hunter grind because Gyros is not hard to fight. Gyros was never a challenge for me because I'm an old head in Monster Hunter. Not because it's not difficult or can't be difficult, but because I'm an old Monster Hunter head, it didn't have the same feeling to it, even though it's a new monster. And so, I will always take old school Monster Hunter over Monster Hunter World, even though I think it's one of the best games in the Monster Hunter series. End of statement.
My man.
Very nice.
Yeah, Cam, I'm right there with you. Phil, I don't know if you've ever played Gen Ultimate, but
I didn't play Gen Ultimate.
Gen Ultimate is hands down my favorite Monster Hunter game.
It's because you get to play as the cat.
Yes, and I am, Cam, to be fair, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but am I better as the cat than a hunter?
Oh, no. He's really, really good as a Palico. Like, he's 100% better as a Palico. And I know he loved it, and he was really great at it. I played with him while I was like a hunter, and he was a Palico. And I played with him while we were both hunters, and he's 100% better as a Palico.
I'm horrible. And, World is different. World feels completely different. Like, I beat, or, didn't beat World, but I beat Nergigante in World and was like, okay, that's kind of the end of the story, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go back to Gen Ultimate now and wreck some monsters as the hunter. And, fumbled everything. Could not beat the basic of the basic monsters as the hunter. Switched back to the Prowler, and I was knocking them down. But yeah, I'm totally with you there. So
it's the experience. There's something different about the experience that all the tailors to a Western audience changes the experience, not for the worse or not in a bad way, but in a way that is distinctly non-Monster Hunter. That just makes me long for the old versions of the games.
Okay. Because having played Monster Hunter World the way I did, I was like, okay, cool. I don't know if the old ones are like this, but this is incredible. And if they move forward with that, like Monster Hunter World, whatever, oh, I'm down for the cause. Because those games were great. That was a great game.
Do you remember me always, before Monster Hunter World came out, I used to hound you specifically, Phil, about playing Monster Hunter. Like, oh, this is so dope, and you never played it. Like, never had the inkling to.
I don't remember.
And then World came out.
Why. No, I remember we talked about that. And the only reason I never wanted to play was because it was on such a small screen.
Right.
And I was like, I can't do this on such a small screen. It takes so much skill, and I want to get good, and I want to be able to play.
Right.
But I can't, zoom in all the way on the screen because it'll be at my eyeglass, and I'm like, look, I can't do this. Like, this is crazy.
That's fair, and that's the whole thing about why Ultimate, and I know nobody had a Wii U. I had a Wii U, but Tri Ultimate was so important. It's because
I had one.
It was that experience that we wanted. Like Tri Ultimate was 3U was the experience I wanted, but I had already spent and invested so much time in 3DS version that I was just like, screw it. We're going hardcore with the handheld. But it was always that experience that I wanted.
And that's fair. And you saw when Monster Hunter World came out,
right? You were on there.
You talking about in that game? Oh, I was in there ferociously.
But let me ask you, Phil, how many hours did you spend in World?
I think, oh God, at least 250, 350 in that range.
You could have spent
at least.
If the old games were on console, I guarantee you would have spent at least 2.5 times that amount of time on the old games, because there's just that much more for you to do. There's that many more monsters. There's that many more challenges. There's a dedicated online and a dedicated offline. It's not just going through one thing and then you can call for backup or whatever. It's all right. You learn how to play by yourself. You learn how to play with others, and then you go back to playing by yourself, and you can get the playing by yourself gets the nuance. Playing with other people gets a completely different nuance.
Right.
And that's what I was kind of hoping for with World, because I wanted everything, and I understand that they couldn't have put all of that out as well as they did while introducing so many new fans to the franchise. So I don't know if they're going to do like a World 2 or if they're just going to DLC heavy us for the next 10 years.
I don't think so.
You think they'll DLC us, or you don't think they'll?
No.
I think Iceborne's going to be it.
I think Iceborne's going to be it because it adds G rank. It adds in a lot of new content. There's a lot. We're talking like, what do we have? 6 new monsters already?
I think 8.
8 new monsters.
The grand scheme of monsters, is that really that many?
Yes, because we only have like 30.
No, if that, there's like 22.
Oh, I'm talking about in the old Monster Hunters.
How
many monsters are in the old Monster
Hunter? In the
Hunter?
old Monster Hunter, you have up, like in Generations Ultimate, you have what, like 88?
I thought there were like 113.
That's right. I thought it was 100.
Something like
but
that.
I don't know if
it might be. I think Generations. No, 4 Ultimate, I think, has the most.
Maybe
which is over 100. But even for instance, all right, let's go back a bit. When I started playing at Tri, which at the time had the least amount of monsters, and it was in like the 40s or 50s or something like that. It's low for Monster Hunter standards. And then I went back and played the game before, which had like 70 or 80, but the monsters didn't feel fleshed out, and I understand why they went with less for Tri, because they wanted to take the iconic monsters and bring out the personalities of them, make them more, this is what I'm fighting, and this is how it acts. And the old games, it didn't feel like that. It felt like, all right, here's a bunch of monsters, go fight them, kill them, skin them, get their stuff. And then they started adding on from there. All right, we've perfected how to do these few monsters. Let's make more. Let's make some subspecies, change up how they fight a little bit. And that's when you started stacking up. And then with World, when you have such a big production where you have to change up everything about how the monsters act and how they interact with each other, I understand why, one, you would make a lot of new monsters because they have to interact in a different way. And two, the monsters you bring in have to be iconic. They have to have a reason for being there. And so I understand the direction they went with World. All right, we got a lot of new monsters, a few of the old favorites, mix them in, just a few monsters, but we're going to make them feel as real as possible. Bet. It was dope.
And it was, and don't take what I said as a not to World, because World is A1. I just know that with so many monsters left out, a lot of people were like, well, I can't wait for them to add this and this and this. So that always led me to question are they going to add them in as World monsters? Or are they going to do like a World 2? return to freelance or whatever. And
I think a lot of them are
Right.
just going to be left out because they don't
Yeah.
really have
They
a
don't
place in the
fit.
world.
I mean, and of course we've only done but this one area. So I would be surprised if they don't continue to. Well, I don't know. They'll
Nope.
do DLC.
You
But you
already
could-
have everything you need for a Monster Hunter game. You have the hot world, you have the cold world, and you have 3 different other worlds. That's all you need. Like, you have a whole Monster Hunter game after Iceborne. When they added in the cold world, we're done. That's all you need. And the thing is, too, you don't need more monsters to make World good. World is a good game.
Well, it's a great game.
Like, I'll put it like this. A monster that we have not seen since Gen 2, since Freedom Unite, is Hypnocratus. Nobody gives a crap about Hypnocratus. He was annoying, he was easy to fight, he sucked, so we don't need to see Hypnocratus again. We don't ever need to see Hypnocratus. Nobody gives a crap. Nobody's favorite monster is Hypnocratus. I guarantee you that. But that's what they did when they started toning back for the old games and started weaning for World, is that you don't need all the monsters to have a legitimate, complete Monster Hunter game. It can still feel full without having everything.
Now I laugh because the two creatures that I knew they were going to have to add, because as someone who had not played a Monster Hunter before this, I knew about them and I wanted to fight them, was Nargacuga and Tigrex.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like, dog, I want them so bad. But then Mackie knows I played Monster Hunter Stories, and I was like, yo, these
Mhm.
dudes are nice.
I'm still playing Monster Hunter Stories.
On my
Uh,
iPhone right now.
Mhm.
Wait until you fight him. Wait till you fight Tigrex in particular. You're gonna.
Mm.
Tigrex is not.
I bet he's a savage. I bet
He
he is a
hurts.
savage.
He's so mean. It's not even that he's hard. He's just mean. Nargacuga is.
Fast.
And Nargacuga. The thing about Narga is that everybody wanted him, but we got a good replacement in Adogoron
Mhm.
in World. Adogoron is basically
He is
Nargacuga.
the worst monster to fight for the longest time.
What?
Adogoron is one of the easiest monsters in the game. Do you know
Yeah.
why?
No.
Because
I
his
can watch
patterns are easy as
Mhm.
crap. And that's the same thing that you're going to get with Narga, is that he's going to be fearsome. He's going to take you off guard because he's so fast. But once you realize that, once you understand his pattern, Narga's a joke. He's just awesome to look at. He's cool looking.
He is. He
He looks
super dope to look
dope.
at. He is.
That's why he's a fan favorite. And so we didn't need Narga. It's just people wanted him and they wanted to give him to us. So I'll accept Narga. I wanted Tigrex because all these new fans come in like, oh, this is fun. Oh, this is awesome. And then you get slapped one time for half your health, or you get hit with that one roar and the roar knocks you down and take a quarter of your health. And you're like, how? You just yelled. That's all you did. That's spoilers for anybody who has not played Monster Hunter
Also,
before.
when he charges, he changes direction while he's charging. So, like, a lot of people playing World will be like, oh, I just gotta jump out of the way. And then he'll spin on a dime and come charge right back after you.
I bet
And
you.
you have no stamina, and you are screwed.
I bet you that if you use your slinger to get over him, he's going to turn around and jump at you,
Jump
not just
straight
run
at
at you. I bet you.
I'm super excited because I know he's a savage. And I feel like that's one of the things that I kind of missed. Because like you were saying earlier, once you get the hang of these guys,
Mhm.
not the hang of them. Like, everyone
Right.
was worried about Anjaneth. And I remember being worried about him the first fight. But when I went back and I was like, yo, fam, I just need your tail. It was on and popping. He had no chances. I was like, you do all this little flame, you can do all this charge and all you want to. I'm going to smack you every time. And it's going to hurt. So now, like, knowing that there is a true savage coming, I want the smoke.
Here's the thing, too, is that who are we talking about? Tigrex.
Yeah, Tigrex.
Tigrex is considered this super, super savage, but Tigrex is weak as hell. Let's not get it twisted.
Oh,
Tigrex is not he does not have a lot of stamina. It's just Tigrex is brute strength and his speed catch you off guard. That's what T-Rex is known for, is that the fact that playing the game for the first time and you're like, all right, he's not that bad. And then he gets pissed and you don't have an opening for attack like you normally do in a monster. Because he's just that fast, and if you make a mistake, he's going to knock you down for half your health. And then when you get up, he's coming back for the rest. That's what makes T-Rex T-Rex. Like, that's what makes him scary. It's just like Devil Joe. What makes Devil Joe scary is his relentlessness. Like, this guy never lets up. Like, he never stops. Getting rid of Devil Joe was like a number one priority because he's just so obnoxious. Like, leave me alone. I'm not here for you. And if I'm here for you, I got to prepare for you because you have crazy stamina and you cover tons of area.
Well, see, that's how Nergigante was when you first start messing with him. Where you'd be fighting some random Joe and he'd drop in out of the sky like, yo, fam, nah, forget him. I want you. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to leave. Like, I'm going to leave. Don't worry about it. I'm going to go. Because I remember he did that. I was fighting Kieran one time. And I don't know why. Nergigante drops in. I was like, oh, Chief, dude, I'm leaving. I'm not fighting you both. I won't do this. Not right now.
Yeah.
I'm not even prepped.
Well, that's the thing about Devil Joe. That was Devil Joe's thing. That's why he was such a big deal. Like, it's just so weird. Especially talking to you who has played Monster Hunter, but not the old Monster Hunter. Is that you just don't... And I'm not saying this to knock you. It's just like you don't understand why the icons are icons like they are.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. That's fair. That's not even a knock. That's fair. I think that always is going to kind of be the same with like just imagine the people who play Pokemon now that never played the old ones.
Right.
And you're like, dog, you don't know why Charizard is the man. You're looking at his type. Dog, that man is a thug. I've seen him throw people in lava, come out and still fight. Like, you don't know why he's nice. He's just a regular guy to you. To me, I know what he's about. I know how he gives it up. So,
you're right. You know the story. You know what's behind.
I can always understand when people who played the old Monster Hunters like, nah, you don't even know yet. You don't understand how this guy can do. I'm like, yo, dog, you don't get to tell me. I don't know. But I can only go off of what I get to experience. And that's why I kind of want that's probably the only reason I want more and more and more. It's because I want to see it all. I want to see the old guys. I want to see even the stupid people. I want to experience that fight. Because Monster Hunter's been a cool game. I just never really got to play it because I couldn't go back to that small screen.
But the only way to really experience it is how they were first introduced. Because outside of that little screen or outside of the blockiness or outside of the archaic gameplay, it's not the same. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the beauty of Monster Hunter, is that the monsters that they did port in, the monsters that they did bring in, Diablos. When I saw Diablos in World, they got it right. And it was just like, wow, like they really did it right. Like the way it gets pissed off after every hit when it's at low health. Like, literally, you can dodge all you want to, but as soon as you hit it again, it's getting mad again. You're just going to have to learn how to fight it mad. Mm-hmm. Like, that thing, they translated so well into the new Monster Hunter. And I don't know if they can really do that justice for every single monster. No. That's all.
That's fair, and that's the hard thing to even do with what they did. So they did a great job as far as the creatures that they added in. And I have not heard anyone who played the old game go, "Oh, this game is trash." They've all said it's different, but I've not heard it's trash.
Oh no, it's good.
And,
it's a good
and
game.
So I think that's a good thing, and that's a mark in the right direction for Capcom. And I guess they're the porters, but it's the game itself got good praise for a good reason, and from old fans who were in love with the franchise itself. I like that they kind of still were like, "Yo, yeah, we're trying to stay as true to you guys while bringing in new fans as we can," and it came out like this. So I'm happy with that. I'm super happy about that, and I'm glad I get to experience how it is now. And that's why I'm like, well, I want more and more and more. And that's how a lot of the old fans were. They're like, yo, I want more and more and more. This is great. So I'm just glad that they're doing that and moving forward in that with that energy still. So that's why I'm mad greedy for more monsters because the guys that give me washable. Those Elder Dragons, washable.
But you had to get to that point.
Yeah.
First of all, Lunastra, the new Lunastra can still go suck it. I hate Lunastra. I hate what they did with her. She's the worst. She was bad in the old game. She is the worst now. I hate fighting her. They can keep her. They can take her back.
Now,
Jesus.
I think the only fight that I had in this game that I was like, dog, this just sucks, was Teostra. And people think I'm crazy, but Teostra just
Have you fought Lunastra?
Lunastra's way worse.
Lunastra is way worse. Way worse.
I don't remember if I fought Lunastra. I'll have to go back and just for you guys, I'm gonna go back and fight her and see what's up.
Good luck.
Yeah, have fun. Have fun getting your behind whoops. Because it's going to be some BS. And you're going to be like, yo, how did she drain my health? I'm halfway across the map. This is bull.
Okay.
Yeah, she's BS. She's straight up BS.
Up and ready. I'm excited.
Hey, yeah. It won't help you. You're going to die. I know, I'm serious. Just be ready to die. You laugh. Go ahead and laugh. Yeah, I just want you to tally your deaths because you're gonna faint. You're gonna faint at least once. I guarantee you.
I'm good with a one faint.
Because no.
Is it a constant faint?
Don't look up anything on her. Just fight her.
I know. I never do. I never did. I never even thought about that, which is I think a good thing. But
it is.
Monster Hunter World, the whole time I was like, no, I'm gonna learn you, and you got to take this ass or this beating. My bad. And I'm telling you, I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to censor it. But like playing that game, I never even had the thought to look online. No. I was always like, nah, all right, we're going to fight again.
That's how I feel like Monster Hunter really, really should be played. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, even knowing what she could do going into the fight, I was still like, this is complete horse BS. Like, this is garbage. I still haven't fought Behemoth yet. I've never fought Behemoth because I don't feel like a monster I can't beat by myself is worth fighting.
Wait, Behemoth, you have to fight as a team?
Yeah. By yourself.
Because you need somebody to tank hits. So Behemoth is from Final Fantasy, and he targets, like, it acts like it's in an RPG. So at all times, Behemoth tells you, like, there's an arrow pointing to who Behemoth's targeting. So you need somebody to literally just take hits while everybody else does damage. And then when he turns, you need to tank to draw aggro so that everybody else doesn't get one shot. And then he has a move that can one shot everybody if you're not careful.
That's tight. But I can understand the annoyance.
Right. As a person who plays Monster Hunter by myself, as a person who wants to learn the monster by myself, I can't fight Behemoth. I literally can't. I've tried one time, I got my behind whooped, and I can't do it anymore.
Right.
Well, that's kind of beat.
It is. It is beat, but, you know, that's the way the news goes.
All right, Rick and Morty.
All right, guys. Let's go ahead and wrap up our episode here with our recently finished games. I had completed in the notes, but I don't think I've ever 100% a game before. So it's going to be recently finished games.
Okay.
And Phil, let's start with you.
All right. So after thinking about this, I actually have two. I remember I had to go back in the brain, but when you asked the first question, I was like, oh, I did. So, Digimon Cyber Sleuth.
Nice.
I recently went back and completed. It was a fantastic game the first time, and it was amazing the second time. Oh, love that franchise. I think that's probably the best iteration of Digimon outside of Digimon World, Dawn and Dusk. Those games were amazing. And so I started playing Digimon Cyber Sleuth 2, but I also am wrapping up currently Ni no Kuni 2.
Nice.
Okay.
And dude, I don't know who sat them down because I didn't get to beat it the first time I owned it. So this time I wanted to get back and really like go all in on it. And I don't know who told these dudes, like, I don't know who told them to change what they changed. But that game is so good. And it's great the first time. And this next one is just stupid. There's nothing that's missing. You have your army on army version. You have your JRPG style. You have your wild story where you go and you have your citizen building kingdom that you actually have to go and get into. And I was just super impressed with so many different aspects to the story, with them still being like, all right, cool, well, doing this, now you have to go find this kingmaker and kill him. All right, cool, tight, well, I'm going to do that. We'll go back to this place you just left from, because there's now citizens after you beat that kingmaker that are like, yo, you're kind of tight. I would love to join your kingdom now. And you're like, oh, that's dope. I needed a baker, or I needed someone to raise these guys for me, or I needed this or this or this. And they're like, yo, we got you now. Come on back. Come find us. And so just out in the world, you can be walking around. And this one guy was like, yo, I want to find a new place to live. And I was like, well, you can come to my kingdom. He was like, nah, I don't want a king that's weak. So unless you can beat these dudes, I'm not joining you. And those dudes were level 60. So at level like 45, I was like, nah, chief, I need you to join the kingdom. And I went out and fought him. And I grinded up fighting those guys. And he was like, yo, that's pretty impressive. I'll join your kingdom now. And then I could add him to my army. And as someone in the army, he was like, yo, I'm 10 levels higher than anyone else you have. So put me in the Vanguard. And it's just it's so smooth. And it's super cool. You build places in your kingdom where it's like, all right, well, now we'll power up the spells that you do in your JRPG type like battles. Mm-hmm. So it was just, it's so cool and it's so different. And I was just like, wow, I'm not going to stop playing. And then they have a post game. So the first game, I don't remember them having like a crazy post game. Now there's 2 DLCs after you beat the main story where it's like, yo, oh, you the king, but you still got to go in this dungeon and find this guy who's threatening the world of peace that you just built. And then even after that, there's more stuff. And I was like, yo, this is stupid. The level cap went from 80 to 120. And they're just all in on this. I was like, all right, I'm in here. I'm in. I'm fighting.
Okay.
So
very cool.
Yeah, those were great.
Nice. Cam, what you recently finished?
I've recently finished, and I never thought I would say this, but Crypt of the Necrodancer. That game is hard, and but with some luck and some good juju, I made it through with some good items. With both Cadence and her mom, and I know there's more characters. So everybody who's like, oh, you didn't really beat it. I know I didn't really beat it, but I beat it, all right? That game is hard. That game is hard. With that being said,
one of the hardest games I've ever played.
I will have to amend my top 10 songs because the first stage theme in Crypt of the Necrodancer, and it's probably because I played it so many times, but oh my God, the soundtrack is so well crafted.
Specifically when you go to the shopkeeper.
Oh my God, the shopkeeper! Okay, first of all, so I'm playing this game, and you know, the Google algorithm listens to everything on my phone. So I'm on YouTube, and all of a sudden there's a video, and it's like the true shopkeeper in Cadence of Hyrule. And I click on the video, and it's the guy that sings the shopkeeper songs. And so, I keep in mind, I've played Crypt of the Necrodancer. I have not played Cadence of Hyrule. Okay. So I know the songs in Crypt of the Necrodancer like the back of my hand now because I played them so many times. And the guy starts singing, and he's singing what sounds like a remix version of the original stage of Crypt of the Necrodancer for Cadence of Hyrule. And then he remixes it. The song remixes into the Zelda theme. And I was like, holy crap, I'm going to have to play Cadence of Hyrule too because the music is that good. Oh, yeah. Like, it literally seamlessly goes from Crypt of the Necrodancer to Cadence of Hyrule, and it just sounds natural. And if you didn't play the first game, you had no idea that they were not original songs, that they are 2 songs melded together. The soundtrack is amazing. The way they built it is amazing, especially the stage. Even though I hate this stage 3, where it has 2 different themes, the fire and ice theme together, the fact that it has 2 soundtracks put together and it switches between the 2 when you jump between the fire and ice areas. Mwah! Cryptid the Necrodancer right now is on my top games of 2019, and it's not even a 2019 game.
Very nice.
Okay.
Are you working on any other games? Like Phil mentioned he's working on Ni no Kuni.
I started Red Dead, but I don't have the time to play Red Dead. It's really disappointing.
No, I'm with you.
I have been playing, and I'm plugging this right now. I am playing Twitch Sings. I will probably stream some Twitch Sings. Don't judge me. I'm not a great singer, but I like playing. If you'd like to hang out, I will probably be posting some times when I'm playing on our Twitter page and probably on our Facebook page as well, so that you can come join me and watch me butcher some songs. Watch me sing in some ranges that I don't usually sing, because I love karaoke, man. I really love karaoke.
I've never done it, and I want to eventually. Karaoke always looks tight, and that's it. Yeah.
Even if you don't,
that's it.
Even if you don't sing, if you get inebriated enough, and you like a song enough, I guarantee you'll be up on that stage throwing down. And everybody else will be like, oh boy, he is doing something. And you'll be like, yeah, this song is great. And that's all you'll be thinking about.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's fun. That sounds super fun to do. And I want to do it with a good group of people where everybody's laughing, everybody's joking. It's good nature. Everybody's up there massacring whatever they like to massacre. And it's just fun, because I know I always are. That's a different tangent. We'll talk about that later.
All right.
Host with the most. What do you got?
So, I just recently finished Spider-Man on PS4.
Woo! Oh yeah. How was it?
Yeah, it was phenomenal. We talked about this on a previous cast, where just the relationships are perfect, the way you play the game is perfect, the web slinging feels just right. I'm probably gonna buy the DLC. And this, I think Spider-Man will be the first game that I ever 100%, partially because it's easy to 100%, but also I feel like I need to 100% it. Like, I don't know. I feel like I haven't done my duty as my friendly neighborhood Spider-Man if I don't 100% the game. But, yeah, really enjoyed that game. Definitely gets, it was one of those games I played it once and was like, glad I bought this on sale. Probably won't play it much after I beat it. Picked it up one weekend again and then just plowed through it in a matter of like 3 days. So, phenomenal game. It gets a well done steak. Cam, you remember our rating system?
Oh yeah.
And then the game I'm working on right now, and y'all can make fun of me for it if you'd like.
Nope.
But it's Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night.
I'm not making fun of you for that. Nope.
And it's on the Switch. So it's got a lot of technical problems on the Switch.
So you're playing the inferior version.
I am.
No, seriously. That game has a lot of problems on the Switch.
It does. And I absolutely love it. I love the story. I love the gameplay. I'm a huge Castlevania Symphony of the Night fan, and this is basically the spiritual successor to Symphony of the Night, in every way, shape, or form. And it's perfect. I love it, and I know it's got a bunch of blemishes, but I love it.
Question.
There you go.
Yeah.
And this is because you brought up the Switch, and I hadn't been thinking about it, and you were saying the game that you're running is on the Switch. Did either of you guys ever play or hear of World of Final Fantasy?
Yes, I did not play it, but it's out. Oh! I also finished. My wife and I finished For the King on Xbox.
Very nice.
Ooh.
We're starting a second campaign now, though.
Very nice.
Yes, of course. You're supposed to do all of them 1,000 times.
Yeah. Yeah, she really likes it. She's. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Gloomhaven. Have you heard of this game?
Mm-hmm.
I have not heard of this game.
So Gloomhaven is a board game.
Mm-hmm.
It is a $200 plus board game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what? For what? What's happening here?
It's a $200 plus board game. All right.
Well, that's where I got stuck. That is it.
It's had discounts. Like it's gone down to like I've seen it as low as about 140, 120, somewhere around there. They're making a video game of it.
Oh, nice.
And I'm super excited. It goes into Steam beta this week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it goes into Steam beta on Friday or Wednesday. Goes into Steam beta on Wednesday, and well, I guess if you're listening to this last Wednesday, it went into Steam beta, but. It looks great, and I don't have to spend $200 on a game anymore. I can just spend $60
nice.
or whatever it is. But it's also coming to consoles. We just don't have a date yet.
Yes. Okay, I was going to ask. As a Steam, I hate finding a good game where it's like super enjoyable, and then realizing I have a MacBook and I'm not going to play it.
No, but my wife is excited about Gloomhaven because she's the one who brought Gloomhaven to me and was like, "Hey, do you think we would like this?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks super cool. Looks super involved, and that's why it's so expensive. But yeah, it looks great. That's something I'll definitely be checking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Temtem at all? It's like a PC Pokemon game that's supposed to be coming out this year at some point, end of this year, towards the end of. That actually might be my first PC buy.
Nice.
Because it looks like a MMO Pokemon, like a well done MMO Pokemon.
I'll say they've had those.
Because there's 1,000 of the non so well done. But looking at it, I was like, okay, cool. This looks tight. It's set up to where, of course, there are more. It's set up like how you would think a Pokemon online would be, where I'm sure there's going to be like this big tournament towards the end of it. But from what you get to see in the alpha, you play and you're like, all right, cool. There's clearly over 100 different creatures, evolutions not included. There is a battle system. You can battle people online while you're just walking through the world. You just run into Jerkwad Magoo 993, and you're like, all right, dog. We were both going for that Temtem, and you jacked me. So battle? Oh, you accept? Cool. Well, here are my two guys. And it literally was just so smooth where it was like, all right, cool. Walking. Oh, all right, let's fight. Scrap. Or you can decline and keep going about catching Temtem. NPCs and regular people seem to have been thrown in together. So you really don't know what you're running into until the scrap starts. And then you're like, whoa, he has a real name. Hold on. This is Steve from Ohio. I don't like that. Let's see what's happening. So it was just really cool.
Nice.
So that's just probably what I'm looking out for.
Yeah. We'll have to keep us updated on that. So, alrighty, guys. Well, this has been the 8th episode of the TCP podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Definitely be sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff, and follow us at The Cricket Party on Twitter. Definitely, if you want us to do another couple of options, be sure to put those up there, and we'll definitely ask each other, or you can DM us or something like that. That way, the other members of the Cricket Party don't see the options, because that takes kind of the fun out of it. But yeah, I'm your host, Mackay.
I'm Phil.
And I am Old Man Cam.
And we'll catch you guys in the next one.
See you later.